And so, child of God, as we work through, let me read this verse 9, and I want to push it and move on. But then shall he deliver, Matthew chapter 24, verse 29, you up to be afflicted and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many of offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. That's the martyrdom that, you got to hate someone to kill them. You have to hate someone that has done nothing to you, but because they're holding up that blood-stained banner. That's hatred at its worst. And many false prophets shall come. And it talks about that, and it goes down. And that's the end result of false prophets. We always think of false prophet, and we think monetarily, but the false prophet does not care about your well-being. If they can come and give you a lie, and lie about who they are, who sent them, they lie and prophet lie and give you a message, child of God, you think they care about you? They're selfish, they're self-centered, and so. We talk about this, and then when you talk about the seal number 6, and let me read it again in Revelation chapter 6, y'all stay with me, in verses 12 through 17, and beheld when I had opened up the 6th seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood. And the stars of heaven fell upon the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs. See, this is why this is the things which shall be hereafter. You show me in history where this has happened. Now you can say, well, Rev, this we shouldn't take this literally. We ought to take this. Well, hold up then. I mean, do we get to pick and choose because we have some unbelief, or because we have not seen what happened? Or what? Do we, when Christ was born of a virgin, can we pick and choose whether that was literal or was that just representing something else, as what our Muslim brothers would say? And so it's time out for all that just because we don't have an understanding or we have not seen. Matter of fact, Jesus cleared this up. Jesus, and let's go back to Matthew chapter 24. Jesus says all these things will take place, but this is just the beginning. This is the beginning of birth pains, and this is in the Matthew chapter 24. And so it's interesting. Verse 24 in Matthew 24, for there shall arise false Christs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. It's a whole bunch of things that's mentioned. This Matthew chapter 24, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation in those days, the sun, here we go, shall be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. This is what Christ said in Matthew chapter 24, verse 29. Now, I just read it over in the revelation of Jesus Christ. So when we in Matthew, we're okay, child of God, when we want to take it literally, but we go over to Revelation, this is just too deep. And all of a sudden, we don't want to take it literally, what's going on in that passage of scripture. Who told you not to take it literally? Who told you you ought to come and spiritualize the passage? Who told you that it's all deep? All you have to do is read and take book, chapter, and verse in context. Let me read it again. So Jesus himself, he said in Matthew chapter 24, verse 24, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days. See, we're talking about the tribulation. And remember, the tribulation period is a 7-year period, but it's divided in half. So the first 3.5 years, child of God, is a period of peace. This is when, and we're going to get to that later on, but this is when the Antichrist comes, and they make a covenant with him, and they make him their God, and it's peaceful. But in the second half of the tribulation, child of God, we have, and he breaks that bond, that covenant, and it's all hell break loose. And this is what Christ is saying. In verse 24, in chapter 24 in Matthew, verse 29, immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of heaven shall be shaken. Verse 30, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. See, now, what ends the tribulation, and we're going to eventually get to that, is Christ returning with his armies. That's Revelation chapter 19, child of God, and he's going to put an end. And there shall appear a sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall be all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds. See, that's his second coming. That's why his second coming is distinct from the rapture, because when the rapture happened, no one sees him. But when his second coming comes, everyone sees him who are presently alive here on earth. And then when you talk about the rapture, he comes for his saints. And when you talk about his second coming, he comes with his saints and his armies. That's Revelation chapter 19.